Hello. To bring Angel and Chief to the Philippines, this is few of the steps that you need to do. First thing, we went to the website in the Philippines. Um, can't remember the website, but you should be able to see it in this paperwork. Um, if you have specific, just write in the comment and we can tell you the website. But anyway, I had to apply for this SPS, I guess, import of animals to the Philippines. This is good for 3 months, for 90 days. So as long as your travel is within the 90 days before it expires, then you're good to go. But this is the first thing you need to get, an approval to import your pets to the Philippines. When you get this, if you have a question, if they have a question, they'll let you know. And then if everything is good to go, you gotta go back to the site, and then you can print this out. It's 3 pages, and then it has all the instruction of what kind of shots you're supposed to have before you can bring them. Make sure all the shots, your dog or your cat, your animal has those shots, or else you will have problems like us. We almost didn't make it, but the airport quarantine help us out in Haneda. But anyway, so you get this first, and then after that, what we did is find an airline that can accommodate the dog, and Cebu Pacific doesn't do it, and Philippine Airlines did. So we did that. Make sure before you book your ticket, you need to call the airlines. From ours, we left Iwakuni for ANA flight to Haneda, and then from Haneda to Manila, that's Philippine Airlines, and then Manila to Cebu, another Philippine Airlines. And like I said, so you don't have to waste your money or spend more money, you need to make sure that the airplane that you're taking is pets are allowed. And all you can do is call the airlines, and they'll tell you which flight you should take, and then keep that flight numbers with you. And then when you go to a travel agent or wherever you get your ticket, make sure it's that specific flight. For us, it's only 4 hours flight if it's a straight through, but since we have a dog, it took us 24 hours because only one flight a day that caters the pets. So we left Iwakuni for the 7:30 flight because ANA, their first flight is the only one that has pets, so we did that. We paid $50 for each pet, $50 each, and then from there, when we got to Haneda, again, that's when all the problems started in Haneda because we didn't have all the paperwork. When we went to the vet, this is 10 days prior to getting your dog to any flight. We went to the vet and got all this paperwork. The vet gave each pet this paperwork. So it's like 3 pages. That one. You need to make sure that he has all the signatures. And they pretty much know
all the shots.
Yeah, all the shots. Copy of all the shots. Oh yeah, don't forget to pick up their records too. Not just this, but their records. We have our dogs registered on base, so they have our electronic records and of course the hard copy. You get all of this, and then they also gave us an application for quarantine. I don't have it here because when we got to Haneda, they were asking us for a certificate. This certificate. We didn't have this. We thought we did, but what the vet gave us on base. Oh, sorry. I can see. The vet gave us was only an application, which is not legit. Okay, so the application, I guess the vet wants us to take it to a quarantine place I don't know where it's at in Iwakuni, but they should be able to tell you. But anyway, for our case, we didn't have this certificate. Luckily, we checked in early, and then they told us and they helped us. And they have next to Haneda Airport, they have the quarantine place, and it was free. Actually, it was free. They asked us all kinds of questions, and of course, we signed a waiver that if since we didn't have all the shots that's required in the Philippines, that our dogs, if the Philippines don't take them, we cannot take them back to Japan. So make sure if you are planning to bring your pets back to Japan or wherever, all the shots are good to go, because like I said, we had to sign a waiver. And when we told them that our pets is not coming back to to Japan, they just signed the paperwork, gave us the go ahead, and give us this certificate that is required to travel. So we got the certificate. When we got to Haneda Airport, registered to Philippine Airlines, they gave us this, and we paid $100 each each flight. So since we have two Philippine Airlines flight from Haneda to Manila, and then Manila to Cebu, they made us pay it in Haneda. So we paid $400 for both of them straight all the way to Cebu. So make sure you have your receipt, and because if you have a connecting flight like us, Cebu, if I didn't have this, Manila would charge me another $100 from Manila to Cebu. So luckily I kept it. So make sure you have this. For a total of $500 for both dogs from Iwakuni to Cebu. Also, when we got to Manila, another, I think it was $10 that I paid. This is the quarantine that saying that we can. They welcome the dogs and we can bring them in and all that stuff. So they gave us this. Again, it was $10. This is from when we landed in Manila, and then on our flight the next day to go to Cebu, they gave us this one to get to the Cebu flight. Another quarantine, but I can't remember if I paid. I can't remember how much it was, or if I paid for this one. But this is again another notice that they are good to go and they are safe to be taken in the airplane. I forgot to mention that, of course, with the travel, you need to make sure that your dog has the right crate. The one that we bought at the MCX, like $40, that was good to go, and it has all the stickers that says live animals. And then you need to make sure that you have the water and the food holder in there. I have zip ties in some MAC bags full of course, their paperwork, and you need to have the extra food and their leash. And what else did we put in there? Oh yeah, pictures. Their pictures, the current pictures, just in case. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why they need to have a picture in there.
Because the dog's on the plane.
But anyway, and then we put their comfy pads in there. They didn't really, we thought they're gonna be strict, but they didn't even check what's inside. So we separate the dogs, and then they got there. And then one thing, when we check in from Iwakuni to Haneda, when we got there, we had to pick them up. They spent like few hours with us, and then we checked them in again to take the Manila flight. And then when we got to Manila, we have to pick them up again, and then they spend like 9 hours with us before we catch the flight to Cebu. So I'm glad they did, though, because you can imagine it was cold outside, or in Manila it was really hot outside. So if they leave them in the cargo place, then it would be really hot. So we get to spend time with them in between flights. That was a good thing. What else did we need? I think that's pretty much it. The hard part was just make sure the paperwork is good to go.
Because
Yeah.
if
Yes.
they can't come back to Japan and they
Yes.
were stuck in the airport, what are you gonna do
we
with
were.
the dog?
Yeah, we were worried about that, but luckily when we got to Manila, the quarantine guys were not that strict, and of course they know that Japan has a really good
Reputation.
reputation for
Healthy pets.
healthy pets and rabies country for pets. So they didn't give us a hard time. Again, they charged me $10, and then I got the certificate, and they welcome the dogs here. So I think that should be pretty much it. Just make sure your paperworks are good to go. It does not expire. And of course, make sure you get that quarantine certificate from the Japanese government. The paperwork that the vet will give you is not complete. You have to go to the government quarantine office to get the certificate. And I don't know how much that costs. And then, of course, just make sure your dogs are healthy before you put them in the cage, because they go in the cargo. You cannot have a pet in your lap or inside the cabin to come to the Philippines. So that was our experience. It was very stressful, but we're just glad that we made it. The dogs made it, because we were all worried, every time we take off and land, of course.
Every time they talk to you, you're worried.
I know. And yes, every time they see us, like, oh, you got dogs, and it's like,
There we go.
yeah. So,
Okay,
but
well,
everything was good. And now here they are. Yep, they're enjoying their time in the Philippines.
they're chills.
They're still abroad.
Okay, what do you got to say at the end?
Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave a comment so we can answer it. Yes. So that's it.
All right, say goodbye, Angel.
Say bye, Angel.